A woman married a disabled person, but it was a shocking surprise at her wedding. Love is like being on drugs. You become addicted and have the power to do anything. Kim married Kevin, which she found out after the wedding that he's disabled. Stay tuned to find out what happened when this lady married a disabled person, but she got a shocking surprise at her wedding. Before we hear about Kim and Kevin, we have a very similar story to share with you today. Jennifer and Mike. When walking down the aisle, the eyes are glued on the bride, admiring everything from the hair to the shoes to the nails to the gorgeous white dress, which of course means that the bride wants to look her very best on her big day. When a bride is preparing for her wedding, she's usually worried about relatively small things, whether the cake will arrive on time or if her dress is going to fit. In reality, all these things are minor issues that can be solved. However, for Jennifer, she had a huge dream to fulfill. She was going to need to teach herself how to walk. She wasn't always immobile. Kim suffered from a serious spinal cord injury after a car accident in 2008 that trapped her in a van. The injury was so severe that she was unfortunately bound to a wheelchair. The event changed her whole life in a split second. When a horrific accident like that happens, it puts a lot of pressure onto a relationship, causing many couples to crack under pressure. Jennifer's boyfriend, Mike, was left with a difficult decision. Does he stay in the relationship or break things off and meet someone without any physical limitations? Instead of leaving her, he stepped up to the plate and showed his true colors. Not everyone can handle being supportive for such a long period of time. He would drive 3 hours one way, 3 days a week to be with her during the intense physical therapy sessions. The accident didn't create distance, it actually brought Jennifer and Mike closer together. He decided no matter what would happen in the future that he wanted Jennifer to be his wife. Jennifer decided from that moment on that she wanted to make a huge and possibly unachievable promise to herself. Jennifer was given inspiration, a new beginning, and decided she would walk down the aisle at her wedding. A huge goal to make when you have a severe spinal cord injury, but for Jennifer, there were no limitations. She only focused on her end result, seeing herself walking down the aisle in her beautiful white dress with all of her loved ones in attendance and Mike beaming, a smile at the altar. Jennifer didn't let any negative thoughts take over from her vision. At physical therapy, she practiced with supportive rails and would sometimes practice in a borrowed wedding dress. Jennifer would always firmly state with such conviction that I will be walking down that aisle. It's not an if or, maybe it's absolutely going to happen. Though, those words were genuine. Could it actually happen? Would she really be able to walk down the aisle? In April 2011, Jennifer was getting herself ready to walk down the aisle. The hall doors opened and everyone's mouth opened as they were stunned into silence to see that Jennifer walked down the aisle. Lead braces under her dress, holding onto her father and brother, the song Walked With You by Edwin McCain played in the background, and there wasn't a dry eye in the room. Jennifer, as she promised, made it to the end of the aisle where Mike eagerly waited. When they both said I do, her husband picked her up and carried her down the aisle into their new life. After the ceremony, Jennifer and her husband were able to have their first dance together as husband and wife, something that no one expected to happen. Jennifer's determination helped her overcome her physical limitations, and her dream came true exactly how she envisioned. It was no easy task. The struggle she endured was constant, yet Mike and their love inspired her. The power of love is an incredible thing. Before we dive into our last story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon on. Kim and Kevin. Weddings are an emotional day for everyone. Some weddings stand out among the rest, especially in the case of Kim and Kevin. Kim was marrying her disabled partner Kevin, only to receive a surprise of a lifetime when she walked down the aisle. What was it that brought everyone to tears? Stay tuned to find out what happened when she married a disabled person, but she got a shocking surprise at her wedding. People break their legs all the time. Broken limbs are a common injury and usually treatable either with surgery or a cast. This is what Kevin expected to happen when he accidentally broke his leg. He expected to be in a cast for several weeks, allowing his leg to heal. Sometimes life throws things our way to test us. Things took a toll for the worse when Kevin realized something wrong started to happen to his leg. After going to the doctors for a checkup, it was discovered that Kevin's broken leg had turned into something worse and extremely rare. What happened to Kevin's leg? Kevin's leg took a turn for the worst When doctors told him he had contracted a nerve disorder called reflex sympathetic dystrophy, the disorder causes chronic pain, and it's due to the damaged tissue, which causes the merit system to malfunction. What was even worse was doctors told him that it was the worst case they've ever seen. Kevin was in the hospital once a month for 10 years. Something needed to be done, so what was going to happen to Kevin's leg? How could he recover from his diagnosis? There are some conditions that cannot be treated, and his case of RSD was so severe that unfortunately there was only one option for a pain-free life: amputation. He could, however, keep his. But that would mean he lived the rest of his life in non-stop pain. Kevin didn't want that to happen. In 2009, Kevin made the brave decision to amputate his leg. The amputation resulted in Kevin being bound to a wheelchair, unable to walk. He kept his spirits up and never complained. They say, once you hit rock bottom, it can only go up from there. For Kevin, having his leg amputated was an extremely challenging process to go through, but things were about to change for him in ways he couldn't imagine. One day, he met his future fiancée, Kim Midway. Kevin's life had changed in a split second. Their eyes met. Kim was hypnotized by his smile. Kevin knew it was love at first sight the moment they met, but would she be able to handle his disability? Kim and Kevin knew the love was meant to be. Several months after dating, Kevin proposed to Kim, and she delightfully said yes. The wheelchair didn't matter to Kim. She focused on the person inside. I don't see the wheelchair at all. Never have. It doesn't bother me. It's the person inside, not who they are physically. His heart makes up for any lack of limb he has. He's the most amazing human being I've ever met in my entire life. Without hesitation, Kim and Kevin knew they were meant to be together. When couples plan the wedding, there's always a chance for arguments to arise about themes, flowers, and decorations. Weddings aren't easy celebrations to organize. Some brides will hide receipts from their fiancés in hopes of getting what they want. Not exactly a good start for a marriage. However, Kevin and Kim both worked together and planned everything, down to the smallest detail, to celebrate their perfect day. During the planning, Kim thought she knew everything that was going on, but what she didn't know was that Kevin had lied to her about something he was hiding, something big. What was he hiding? Kevin wanted to surprise Kim for the wedding and show his true love and affection for her, but how was he going to do it? He was physically limited to make any grand gestures. However, what Kim didn't know was that Kevin was going behind her back and taking physical therapy lessons to learn how to walk. His goal was to be able to walk her down the aisle. Would he be able to achieve it? He dreamed of the moment when the priest would ask everyone to stand up, and he would be able to do it too. Learning how to walk when missing a limb isn't easy, and there's no guarantee it's going to happen. It was the big day. Kevin looked dapper, dressed to the nines in his dress shirt and trousers. As he waited patiently in his chair in the front of the altar, the music started to play and the bride began her walk down the aisle. Her eyes met his, and there was an immediate smile on her face, as she knew she was marrying the right man, regardless of his physical limitations. The priest then announced, "Will everyone please stand up?" The pressure was all on Kevin. Did his dream come true? Was he able to stand in front of the altar and accept his wife-to-be? After the priest asked everyone to stand, Kevin grabbed his armrest and pushed himself up with all of his strength, coming to a full stand. No one helped him. He did it all on his own. He walked up to his bride, and they held each other, and she cried tears of happiness in his arms. Kim was his medicine. Kim was the reason why he decided to learn how to walk instead of remaining in his wheelchair. She was his inspiration to begin living his new life and to start a fresh chapter with his new wife. But what did Kim think about it? How did she feel seeing Kevin walk up to her? After the ceremony concluded, Kim was overwhelmed with emotion. Not only did she just get married to her now husband, but she also just witnessed him walk up to her for the first time in their relationship. Kim was blown away by the whole day. There are many people living with physical limitations around the world, and both these stories are just examples of how the mind can overcome obstacles that are in your way. Your mind is a powerful tool, and nothing is impossible if you believe. How would you react if your partner became disabled and then learned how to walk for you? Tell us in the comments below. We love hearing what you have to say. See you next time.